Denver showed a ton of offense in Chicago. Too bad they kicked Devin Hester because that's why they lost. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com.
Kicking the Hester.
Pat Kirwan. Yeah, we've talked about it every single week. When we talk about the Giants, we'll talk about why they shouldn't kick the Devin Hester, and that's pretty simple. But this is Denver and this is Oakland. It's 5-6 Broncos, who are still in the AFC West hunt. There's no doubt about that. And the Raiders, who snapped a 17-game AFC West losing streak by beating Kansas City on the road last week. But let's start with the Broncos. And you come back here. You had a 14-point lead late in the stages at Chicago, and you lose the game. How does that not carry over to this week?
I think because Mike Shanahan's the kind of guy that can get his team isolated away from that game and think about what they got to do. Remember, this is one of the most bitter rivalries in the NFL, and the focus went right to the Raiders on the plane out of there. So they'll be fine. They'll be able to come in here and not be a team that fell apart. And remember, Jay Cutler threw for over 300 yards last week. He's a guy that's starting to see his own career start to blossom, and he's got Javon Walker back and probably a bigger percentage on the field of Javon Walker. I think Denver will be absolutely fine. And they know they're going against the number 31 ranked run defense in the NFL. Now, granted, Denver's 29, but the 31 ranked run defense in Oakland, and that's music to the Denver Broncos' ears because they like to run the ball first.
It doesn't even matter who's going to be running the ball because as we're doing this on Thursday, it may be Travis Henry, it may be Selvin Young, it may be Andre Hall. It all depends who's healthy. It doesn't matter. You said 29th ranked Broncos rush defense. That was 32nd. Which means they're getting better as the season is going on.
When you're that far down and getting better. Call me when you get into the teens. Until then, you're not good.
When you're so bad in the first 6 weeks, you're not going to get to the teens.
You have season tickets to Denver?
No, a buddy of mine does. Anyway, as for Oakland here, you're talking about their 29th rush defense, at least for Denver. Oakland's going to pound Justin Fargas. That's what they did. That's how they beat Kansas City.
That's what they want to do. They finally had success with it. Remember, Oakland's a unique team. They are prepared to run the ball even when they're down by 2 touchdowns. Not many teams in the NFL are like that. They will stick with the run and stick with the run. You've seen them do it week in and week out. They've had a fourth quarter lead about 6 or 7 times this year, and they've climbed back into races running the football. Where do they want to run it? They want to run it to the right. And if you go back and look at the big call last week in that late drive, Justin Fargas was 3rd and 8. They give Fargas the ball off the right tackle, and he goes for 21 yards. They're very excited about Justin. He brings power, and he brings burst. Jared Allen once again told me, boy, that guy's deceptively strong. I hit him square one time, and you know what? He was able to keep moving with the football. So expect Justin to get himself his 25 carries. Lamont Jordan will come in the game. I asked about that halfback option pass last week because Lamont had been so long since he got in the game, there was no chance he was throwing it. He faked the throw and ran the ball in. I'm looking for 35 runs. There could be 400 yards of rushing in this football game between these two teams.
You talked about the bitter rivalry earlier in this show, and earlier this season, of course, it was week 2 when it was overtime, and it was the let's call the timeout before Sebastian Janikowski kicked the field goal. He kicked again from 50 yards and missed, and, of course, Denver won there in week 2. All right, let's throw all the numbers in the computer, get the AccuScore prediction for this game. It is in Oakland. Remember, 10,000 tests, 10,000 results, and the Broncos 56% of the time come out victorious on the road. Can they get to 6-6?
I think they can get to 6-6. I think they will get to 6-6. Denver will go in there. It'll be a close game again. But Mike Shanahan's 20-5 against the Oakland Raiders. He's 8-1 in his last 9 games against Oakland. He gets up for this game. He used to be the head coach of the Raiders. It's still a little bit of a bitter pill for him to swallow. He'll make sure his football team is ready. His team, as I've talked to a couple of them, they fully understand how much this game always means to Mike Shanahan. It'll be close, but they'll win it.
It's a late game on CBS, and of course, for more on this one or any other in Week 13, stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Pat Kirwan, that's who I am. I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.